working initially for some reason.
Welcome to the Clean Power Hour Live. I'm Tim Montague, your host, bringing you the latest and greatest solar, wind, and battery news bi-weekly with none other than the commercial solar guy, John Weaver. Welcome to the show, bro.
Tim, how you doing? I'm breathing
Show,
heavy.
bro. What?
I'm breathing heavy because I just finished doing my little hallway workout here.
Oh,
in my
I thought you were
office.
getting turned on hanging out with me, man.
Well,
Come on.
Tim, this is a children's show,
Do
Tim.
you remember when we had that talk with the bartender about how we were a couple?
Wow, Tim, which? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some solar.
That was the day you came back to the Clean Power Hour from your hiatus. You went
Oh,
on
wow.
hiatus there for a little while, but we got
I
you
don't
back.
remember that. That's funny. Jeez, we could talk about Vegas stories. There's all kinds of neat stories out there.
So the
Yes.
question of the week, John, is how are you using AI in your business on a day-to-day basis, because it's so integral now?
Well, that's a good question. So Tim and I were talking AI before the show because he has a certification from, I guess, WSI,
Yep,
which
we know it,
is
baby.
giving some
WSI
training.
certified.
And so I thought to bring up a thing that we actually did. So a sales guy and I, we were approached to do an RFP as part of a broader new building construction. They want solar as a little piece of it. So there's a general contractor, Western Mass, building a whole bunch of stuff, and they needed solar. And we gave them a quote, and they said, "Hey, do this portion of the scope up to the meter and everything back. We'll do all the major integration and stuff, and building the building and all the kinds of things, pulling permits, everything." And we said, "All right," and gave them the number, broke it down, gave them components, and then the last piece that they brought up was, "Oh, can we get a scope?" I said, "Oh yeah, we'll get you a scope." I was just going to write out a list because, in my spreadsheet, I break down each task, each component, and that builds up to a cost and a contingency. And I said, "All right, let's do a scope." Now, they had given us a nice 1,000-page packet RFP. Only about 20 of it, of course, is solar for the
They being a developer?
permit package. The general contractor, which I believe came from the local jurisdiction.
Okay.
And so this is actually just a GC. So this is all permitted, everything, interconnection approved, that type of thing. We're just doing pure construction. And they gave us a nice permit package. So as an experiment, I said, Craig's our sales guy. Craig Sargent, who's a big Chiefs fan. He's going to watch the Raiders and the Chiefs play this weekend from row 5. So if you see him on TV, big redhead guy, yell at him. I said, "Craig, let's make a scope." And I said, "You know what, Craig? Let's give ChatGPT, because we have multiple subscriptions in the office. Let's give Chat the one-line diagram and the site plan. And let's give it very explicit directions to build us a work scope to install all the solar with all the hardware, and also stop at this point."
And that drawing you're referring to, just the one line, not like an IFC full stack of drawings?
Site plan and one line. Those are the two things we did. That's it. And we said, please create us a scope, doing all the solar work, stopping at this point. And it created a beautiful document. Wow. Submittable to the customer, took 30 seconds.
You didn't have to do a lot of editing.
Excuse me? And no. Minimal. Yeah, minimal. Yes, I could probably show it to you.
I love this. This is a great application for solar installers. If you're listening to this, this is why I became a WSI certified AI business consultant, because there's a lot of stuff that you can be doing in your daily workflow that's going to save you a shit ton of time and make you go faster, further faster. That's my mantra, John. I am the AI Sherpa now for solar, wind, battery storage.
So that's it. I was going to look for the email real quick and share it, but Wellesley.
It's all good. It's all good. Yes. I love this.
Yeah, but it was cool. So, it was neat. It was nice, clean.
But is that project one or still not one?
I believe they are bidding. So we actually were we were solicited by 2 separate GCs on the same project. So the bid was easy for us the second time. We're just like, boop, done. But I think they have to submit next Tuesday is the deadline. That's what I think I heard. So we don't know. But I hear that there's only 1 or 2 companies bidding.
My favorite success story from a workflow. It's not brand new for me, but we installed a chatbot on cleanpowerhour.com. That's where all this content lives. So you need to go there if you're listening. Check it out. All of our audio, all of our video, and on YouTube, of course. But there's a little bubble in the right-hand corner on the landing page, cleanpowerhour.com. Click on the bubble, and then you can have a text or a voice conversation with that chat bubble. We built it on technology called Voice Flow, which is a state-of-the-art for voice chat. I learned today from my friends at WSI that McDonald's uses Voice Flow. So thank you, Shad, my virtual assistant who helped me build this chatbot. But we trained it with my entire book, many conversations that I've had over the years, many trainings that I've given. And so it's truly a C&I solar expert there for you to ask questions of. And I would encourage you to try it. And now it will also eventually try to get you to schedule an appointment with me if you demonstrate any interest in talking with Tim Montague, which is its primary job. But first and foremost, it will answer questions. So check it out. And I would love to hear your feedback in the comments on LinkedIn or on YouTube, whatever. So let's get into the project of the week, though, John.
Project of the week is from us. It's a carport, solar power carport, but we're very at the end of it. And I wanted to talk about it just a tiny bit because of what we're working on and some of the challenges from it. And so this is the ending, some of the ending pictures. And from here, you can see the carports in the background.
Yeah.
This is, I believe this is an 880-ish kWDC project. And
what's the tilt? It looks fairly steep for a carport.
I think that angle is because of the pictures. It's like a five degree tilt. Yeah. Okay. These are pretty chunky sized carports. And so there's a nice angle. And so what I was really wanting to show off or talk about this one, first off, it's just beautiful. I just love carports and they're just big, chunky. It's real construction, man. You got to get into the ground. You got to dig stuff out. You got to rebuild parking lots. Take some work to get these built. Pouring concrete, it's fun.
Now the foundation is the most intense part, probably.
Yeah, foundation is intense. This is the DAS, so this is going to be an also energy data acquisition system. Help the asset owners understand what's going on. But the real fun with this one is that we had a massive, and this is actually 350 kWDC. We had a transformer, utility transformer, that was a headache. And the reason it was a headache is that the design was done in 2021 and interconnection and everything was approved. And over the course of 4 years, utility requirements change. And so as we are coming to close out this project, we're reaching out to the utility. We say, hey, we need a transformer. Here's our drawings. They're like, we want to change those. And we're like, guys, we're about to dig a hole and put your transformer there. And they're like, well, we need a different type of transformer. We need a different type of hole. We need to move this power line. We need to manage this trench, and we need some extra medium voltage work from you guys. And then the transformer placement, the actual containment area, multiple layers of material, multiple inspections over the process as we moved from having nothing there to having a hole, and then sand, and then fabric, and then stones, and then more of this, and then bollards. So I just wanted to talk about the fact that interconnection for this one was a challenge. It was cool. We're done with it. We were told yesterday we should expect the transformer to be dropped off on the 15th. So that's about 12 days from now. And that would move us toward PTO on the 15th, which is
nice.
Just makes us happy. We got certificate of completion already for all the non-utility work. So the town is happy with us. And
cool.
And that. So it's just,
and remind our listeners, what was the racking they used? What racking company?
Solar Mounts. This is a Solar Mounts carport racking system with Selectria inverters.
Very nice.
Yes, and I can't remember the modules because I didn't buy them. The developer purchased the modules and the carport for us.
Sure.
So.
All right, we're going to go to Norway now. You found another vertical solar story from Norway. They have launched a single cell tall very unique form of vertical solar. So if I can get this on screen, let's see. There we go. This is in Tromsø, Norway, which is in far northern Norway. I've been there. It's a coastal community, beautiful place, very mountainous. Very cold and dark in the winter, though, John. I'll warn you, cold and dark.
So first thing I'll point out is that this is different, cold and dark. Of course, it's like borderline Arctic Circle, dude. You know?
Yes, it is. It's right near the Arctic Circle.
So first thing I thought was cool from this picture is you could see these like racks on the ground. There's something on the ground that they're attaching to, and then you see these guys wheeling out, in essence, a module.
Yeah,
that's 6 by 6
into vertical rows.
Yeah, and it's essentially a module that they're rolling out. I thought that was just kind of neat. Seeing
what's the wattage of that unit there? Do you know the model?
I think it's only like 200-300 watts. I saw a piece of data somewhere that may have suggested 200-300.
Okay.
I can't remember right now, so don't please manufacturer, don't quote me on that. But
I think it's very cool.
So
but somebody has done the math and the side-by-side analysis that somehow this pencil's better because money talks, John.
This pencil's better far north because the vertical works. There's no mechanical attachment needed to the roof because they're so low. What they say is that there's nothing for the wind.
Mechanical? But wait, they must be attached to each other. So it's like a mesh.
Yeah, yes, it's a big
like
mesh.
Earthos,
yes.
But the vertical version, it's very analogous to Earthos.
Yes, so they're all connected in that little.
For rooftop.
Yeah, sorta, sorta, but not. But whatever. But yes, vertical works. Vertical works further north. Yes, look at that, just little rows and rows of vertical solar, and it's just cool. I just think it's neat. So this is a record system size install. This is 320-ish kW. Which I think brings them up to like 1.3, 1.4.
How do they get the snow off, John?
I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you only got 6 to 8 inches. The snow's not
accumulating on the cells, but it's accumulating in the rows between the cells and quickly covering the whole array. If you get 8 inches of snow, right, which they certainly get. But I mean, Tromsø's not a super snowy place. I don't think it's more rainy, but anyway, maybe one of our listeners knows. Perplexity knows for sure, John. That's my favorite search engine now, Perplexity. Have you gotten into Perplexity?
No, but what I did just start fiddling with was Claude. I'm going to add Claude.
Oh yeah, I love
as
Claude.
my number 2. I'm going to use Chat as my number 1. Well, I'm just used to using Chat as my number 1. And then, like, for instance, I was talking with my office manager, and we were talking about how to use it. We'll use Chat to create it, look at it ourselves, and then use Claude to double check Chat, so that we have a 2 separate tools there working together.
What I often do is I search up a company or a person in Perplexity, then I copy that into ChatGPT. That's basically the prompt. I have to add a few things at the top, but like I'm preparing for an interview, okay, with this person. Here's my pre-interview. Here's my bio from Perplexity. And then I'll run that through Chat, and then I'll run that through Claude as like a cleanup. So that, they work well together. It's a concert. I'm having a little AI concert in my office every day. It's a beautiful thing. Dude, I love this vertical solar though.
Look at that little.
What's the name of it, John? Can you remember the name?
Nope. No
Come
idea.
on, bro. We got to give people the name of this technology.
We're just talking. We have no idea who this guy is. Okay, give me seconds. Near seconds. It started with a PV Magazine article, I think. New record system for vertical. Here it is. All right. So Over Easy, I believe, is the manufacturer. Over Easy Solar. So I'll give you.
overeasy.no is their website.
Yeah. Bam.
My browser immediately remembered that, and this project is on their landing page now. The Tromsø Terminalen is like a bus station, probably, or maybe a ferry station, or both. But check out Tromsø sometime, John. It's a beautiful, beautiful place in the summer. The winter's probably a little harsh and depressing.
Yeah, and dark, like you said, dark and cold.
Yeah, it is dark. Unfortunately. All right. What else we got going on here? Surveillance cameras captured two people getting out of a car and setting fire to the solar panels. The climate of hatred that risks fueling copycat attacks. The comments under the article reporting the fire.
Yes.
Too many have expressed satisfaction with the gesture.
Yes. So
Oh
this is
my God.
Sicily.
You had to do this. Holy crap.
This is
Oh,
Sicily. Yeah. So I wanted to bring up the comment section. That's why I copy pasted that in there for you. Just the interesting dynamics of solar, where it's energy, man. We're not just in a build a thing business. We're not like building, I don't know, we're not cutting the lawn, dude. We are competing with energy, some of the wealthiest, most powerful groups of people in the 20th, 19th, and 20th century, and they're doing their best to hold on in the 21st.
okay,
So,
so first, this is a story in PV Magazine. PV system
yes,
fire under investigation at suspected arson in Italy by
yes,
Massimiliano Tripodi.
yes. What a cool name, Massimiliano. Come on.
I know he's got it going on for sure. Um, so, do we know why these people set the solar on fire? Was it did they have some beef with the solar industry, or it was just we're going to cause trouble?
Oh, well, it seems like the politics are pushing, at least per some reading that I saw, the local politics or maybe not be very pro solar.
Mm.
Maybe it's mafia related. I don't know, but there's something about people wanting fossils in this area. Do they have gas money? Do they have oil money?
Yeah,
What are they part of? I mean, that's my assumption. Unless then there's just people who don't
big
like
fire,
solar.
5,000 solar panels.
Yeah.
It's a
So
bummer.
yeah. So I think it's politics. It's interesting. There, I had an article I saw this morning from Heat Map. They did some questions with people who've actually built solar and to see their opinions and what their neighbors are. And they all turned out positive. And it's like even though these people might have a rough opinion going into it,
Oh, really?
they
Solar
all said
changes minds? Is that what you're
when
saying?
you know what it is? A big paycheck for leasing your land for solar changes minds.
Mhm.
That's what matters.
And this
Pay
is
some.
important. Yeah, this is important. I want to drill down on this phenomenon just for a second, and then we'll get on to your next story, which is
The
solar
news.
construction firm Blue Ridge Power issues mass worker layoff in North
Ugh,
Carolina. The layoffs are happening. Um, okay, so a landowner can double or triple their income by leasing their land to a solar developer, which makes it super attractive for the landowners. One of the impacted groups that we don't talk enough about is tenant farmers who are making their livelihood by renting other people's land and growing crops. And when the absentee landowner rents their land, which for in my area of the world, the breadbasket of America, by the way, 40% of the land is owned by absentee landowners. These are people who have lots of real estate holdings in various and sundry places. They may be from Illinois, but they've moved elsewhere, often California, I find. Um, but we need to have a holistic perspective about this, John, right? Like solar is an impact. I ultimately think it is a net good for the community because of the tax um, money that flows to the school district, to the fire district, to the library. So many little things get funded by solar, wind, and battery projects. And it's good for the land, right? You're taking the land out of what is in Illinois heavy industrial farming of corn for ethanol, 200 times less efficient than solar, by the way. I learned that recently. Or beans, right? So
lots of beans.
what do you think about this topic though? I'm just curious, like are you rolling with my thought process?
Yeah. I mean, solar is definitely a net positive. Most solar isn't being placed on highly productive land. It's being placed on the land that's needs some rest. Um, Even, if you go to Illinois, you have 8 feet of subsoil. I got a good friend of mine, Michael Lewis Gallant. He edits my articles for PV Mag, so
Yeah.
he teaches me. But you guys got topsoil there, so it's some of the
Where
most
does he live?
valuable. Well, he lives in New Bedford, but he's from somewhere in Illinois. He's a
Oh,
farmer. Him
okay.
and his family are from there, and they moved to California. So there you go.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
but
happened.
yeah, so it's a net positive. even if we 100% move to solar for all energy, we're talking 2% of land.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
great, great. We can max out. We could cover. I mean, I'm not worried about it as if that. This is a political thing.
Yeah.
This is um this is having fun. This isn't political, actually, Tim. This is money. This is the fossil people continuing their attack on the minds of the American population, and that's just it. That's just fundamentally it. And
You mean the backlash
yeah, the backlash.
and the funding of NIMBYism? Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So this
It's
is
like,
it's
so
fully positive.
if you're
Mhm.
a like a county board member in a rural community, you have a choice. You can either benefit from wind and solar and battery development, or you can pass on the opportunity, because we only need 2% of the landscape. Only a small fraction of parcels in America are going to get leased for these projects. If you make it too difficult for the developers, they will gladly go elsewhere. I'm not
Plenty of other
encouraging that,
places. Plenty of
it
other places to go.
it's time sensitive, because we only have a
Yeah.
20-year window now where we're doing this, and then we're done. Frankly, we have all the solar in the world we need in 20 to 30 years, and then we'll do lots of O&M and repowering, and it's like HVAC all of a sudden. It's a thing, and you need solar installers and solar companies, but we're not greenfielding so much.
So there's a story I thought about sharing that was from South Dakota, and it's a town that destroyed some dude's opportunity. Like, he goes, "This land, we weren't using it. It's fallow land. It's
Is it in the
outside of city."
docket, or you don't want to talk about it?
Oh no, we have a list of 50 other stories. But the
Oh,
key thing is that it lines up with what you just said. Uh,
yeah.
they rejected the plan at this town, in this South Dakota town, which has no other money, and they
Mhm.
built it somewhere else in South Dakota. Like, great. You don't
Yeah.
want it here? Wonderful. We have no problem making your competition down the
Yeah.
street the same project. There's plenty of land. Don't get stuck on yourselves.
Yeah.
You think it's special. It's Everybody can grow food, and we're not taking that much. So I'm I'm obviously pro building some solar, but we don't need to. But great, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So
All right. So let's talk about Blue Ridge Power.
yeah, it
I'm a
sucks.
fan. I'm a fan of Blue Ridge. I've always heard good things about them. They're the EPC arm of Pine Gate Renewables,
Yep. I know
and
some people at Pine Gate. They're cool people that I knew.
yeah, out of North Carolina.
Yep.
But they're having mass layoffs, probably because of the O Triple B. But what's the story, John? This is PB Magazine by Ryan Kennedy. Solar construction firm Blue Ridge Power issues mass worker layoff in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's because of OBB and forward-looking projects and construction, and it combines though with other states. Um, but it's definitely related to that.
Buncombe. I've been to Buncombe County.
Yeah. So it's just, I brought it up because I wanted to bring up, right now the solar industry has other people getting laid off in other places. There's other companies that have laid off people. Pine Gate's laid off its development staff first, I believe,
Mm,
and so they cut back a lot of future work. And there's residential people getting laid off everywhere. That's been going on for a while. We just saw a couple of big resi companies lay off chunks of people. Was it Freedom Solar, I think, or maybe Mission? One of the big ones had a big round. So
oh,
it's happening, and
yeah.
it's interesting because this is so soon. I mean, these are bigger companies, so you would think they have pipeline projects through like 2019, 2029 and stuff. But I don't really know how these big ones work, but just kind of seeing it happening, and
Yeah.
want to bring it up. And if anybody's looking to hire some people, like, we're looking at an electrician right now, and we're about to hire him. He seems like a nice guy, and he's smart. He knows a bunch of stuff. So there's going to be some good electricians and good installers who are going to be out there in the market if you're looking for people to scale up over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them live near Asheville. So
Yeah, Asheville is where Buncombe County is, or vice versa. Buncombe County is Asheville's the seat of Buncombe County. That's the only reason I've been there. I went to Asheville. I was thinking about moving to Asheville, John, and
that's
then
cool.
it was too expensive, so I didn't. And then they had that horrible hurricane, and it was brutal. But yeah, I in 2022 I was thinking about moving to Asheville, North Carolina. But I had to stay here for the pickleball and the sailing, which is just too good a combo. And they didn't have as good sailing. They had pickleball, but no sailing. So
No, it's in the
sorry,
mountains. So yeah, unless you're on
sorry,
a
Asheville,
pond.
you lose.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope everybody at Blue Ridge, good luck. And if anybody's looking to hire, those are some good peeps.
Well, yeah, there's always opportunity, right? There's always a silver lining. This contraction is going to make us stronger. We will come out leaner and meaner. We'll get rid of the fat. And I'm not suggesting that good people aren't going to get caught up in this, and good companies, they will. And the this is them being proactive actually and trying to survive, right? They see this dip coming, and they're going, okay, we're battening down the hatches. And because it's not going to be easy if you're a solar alone EPC, it's not going to be easy. I think a lot of solar alone companies are going to get into other things or go away, and you're going to adopt AI. So reach out to me if you want to get an AI preliminary AI assessment, which is the gateway to my world. But yeah.
Back to the news.
All right. Back to the news. What do we got? We're not going to cover all 50 stories, John. I have a hard stop at 12:40 my time. So
yeah, Tim, there's always plenty of news. But Revolution Wind,
you want to talk about Ørsted?
Yes, just real quick, easy one. Revolution Wind, a judge has ruled that the project can restart. This is a fully permitted project, 80% done. The
Where is the project, John?
Off the coast of Rhode Island.
Yeah, it's good to say.
Yes, sorry about
Rhode
that.
Island.
Off the coast of Rhode Island.
Big offshore old wind project. It was put on hold, right?
Yep, for like
now it's
2
back
months
from the dead.
Maybe a month. And Ørsted said it cost them $2 million a day
for
the various sitting around doing nothing, because you got to rent boats.
Holy cow.
Yes. So $60 million in just garbage extracted because whatever.
That's enough to make a company say, you know what? I don't really need the US market that badly. Like, we're just 5% of the energy market globally, right? Like,
yeah. I heard somebody really smart say there's now a risk premium to invest in the United States that's now added. I remember I
don't like to hear that, but yeah, I get it.
I had a person who I was talking about a deal with. They were thinking about growing into the US, and they said, you know what? We can't grow into the US because we have countries in our portfolio that the US might not like. And if we have a project from the US in the same place as another country, China was amongst the countries, that might cause an issue. So we're not going to work in the US right now. It's like, oh, never been that guy. We've never had that issue. Now we do. The US is that market. So it's interesting. It's the next one. This is a surprise for you, Tim.
Oh, dude, you found the Lumi story.
Yes. There's a PV Magazine article associated with it, but I just wanted to surprise you. I didn't want to label it. I just wanted you to see it. Check out this process. I have some comments on it. Notice there's one human being doing physical work per row, and it's the person underneath who's doing stuff. Actually, I guess technically there's two, because there's a fork over there, a fork driver.
That's a tough job, man. Squatting down all day like that. Holy cow.
So one person doing physical work out of a whole row, whereas there used to be about 5, at least 4. 2 people to move it, 2 people to place it, and then one person with the bolts. And I can very easily see a machine underneath handling that bolting and the connection of the wires. There's nothing magic going on underneath there. A robot with a few arms and some cameras, no questions asked. Yeah. So I can foresee this. And right now, again, there's those 2 little forks. You can see the machines there, forklifts, that are holding the pallet. But I've already seen machines that will hold the pallets. So there's no reason to have a pallet separate, and there's already a machine that holds the pallets and the arm on it. So it's just one machine doing both. So I can see a row of modules being installed with only a manager watching. Yeah. And it's the first time I saw it. That was the video that made me see it for the first time. And I should have seen it before, but That was it. Oh yeah, here's the story. There you go.
Here's the story in PB Magazine. Robot speed installation of 500,000 panels at solar farm in Australia. NG and US-based Luminous have tested autonomous robots at 250 megawatt Gorhambutt East Solar Farm in Australia. By Evie Folly. Nice story.
Yeah, they got like 5 million Australian bucks.
Yeah, they got a huge grant, and
the number's in there. It's like talked about somewhere in there. And they're part of the program that Australia is trying to push the cost per kilowatt hour of solar under a cent. And this
that's the magic number. A cent Australian or a cent US?
Australian penny.
Yeah, because
that would be like 40, which would be like 60, 70, 0.6, 0.7 over here.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Australian dollars.
Yeah, penny a watt in the US is also a target to unlock green hydrogen. Matt Campbell beats this drum at Terabase, and Jim Tyler at Earthos also. Two great interviews from last year. But
so that's it, man. I thought it was neat seeing that robot move around, put those out there.
Congrats to Jay Wong and company at Luminous. Jay Wong and Jay Park, you guys have done a great job growing that company. They're on their 4th generation bot now, so
that's cool.
They're iterating fast. They're moving.
Well, they're in the field. When you're in the field working, that's what happens. That's what you get to do. So pretty neat.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. What else?
I want to show you a cool picture. It's the first time I've kind of seen it. It's this next story that's on the list. This offshore installation. There's 1.8 gigawatt offshore. But I just wanted to show you the picture of that thing, that how they're deploying it. You know, they're putting in piles. So this is an offshore of China. And the picture on the screen that you're going to be able to see is this giant. So there's a big boat that floated out, some kind of barge, and then just a giant chunk of solar that's being dropped on top of piers. And they didn't specify the depth of the water, but they're just dropping it on top of piers. And it's just cool to see. I'm sure they built it in a factory or on the side of the street. I don't know, but just.
But what's the end application? So the story is China builds 1.8 gigawatt offshore PV project in Bohai Sea.
Yep.
State-led 1.8 gigawatt offshore PV plan in Changli, China's Hebei province is set to become a model for large-scale marine solar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just floating. I mean, it's just floating solar. I mean, it's not floating. Sorry. No. Sorry, that's wrong. It's it's Earth-based. They specify 2 or 3 of the subsections because there's like 4 pieces that they specifically say fixed mount. You can see it in the top one, uses fixed mount structural designs. So I assume all of them do. But it's just it's just cool. Yes.
It's got to be expensive as heck, though.
Land is free.
Wow. Still, man. I mean, those piles have got to be massive, right?
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's like building a dock out of solar panels, kind of a solar dock.
It's like a racking system, doing foundations, driving 12 to 15 foot deep piles. I mean, this is much harder, but.
Well, yeah, it's just everything. You're working on the ocean. Everything is harder on the ocean.
That big boat, man.
That's a good find. Good find.
Just neat, just a neat system, really big. I don't know, just cool to see. It's neat to see everything that China loves doing. They're so pushy.
All right, you found a story about solar cable theft.
Yeah.
Thieves steal 50 kilometers of cable from 11 megawatt solar farm in Germany, worth $117,000. This is sad. I don't like these stories, but this is a real thing, stealing cable. It happens in the US too.
Absolutely. It happened not at a project that I was on, but a project that my company was on back in 2015.
Really?
Yeah, I used to work for Beaumont Solar, South Coast, Massachusetts EPC, had a shipping container full of copper, just storing COMEX on site, and had to be an insider. They only stole the copper direct from the shipping container overnight. Had big clippers, gone. Oh, well, I assume big clippers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this photo looks like copper, but it's copper or aluminum, and they're both super valuable.
Yeah.
Copper prices are going up too, right?
I don't want to talk about it, Tim.
That actually probably drives more theft.
Without a doubt, of course. I can show you a scary chart. Type into Google right there. Type in Google copper price, and it's just an ugly chart. And it's even after it fell off. Oh my God, it's over 5. What happened? I wish I hadn't told you to go there. Damn it, Tim.
It's not quite there. It's 477.
Well, it says 5 today.
This is 511.
Yeah, do year to date. Do year to date, please. Not 5 year. Year to date. There we go. Ugh. Look at that, Tim.
What was this in July? What happened?
Oh, that's when Trump said, yes, I'm going to do a tariff. And then he said, nah, I'm not going to do a tariff.
Ah.
Yes. And back in April, you can say, I'm going to do a tariff. And then they said, nah, but then he came back and everybody thought he's going to do a tariff. This is stressful. This has caused bidding issues for me because I had a portfolio that I thought I was going to be building in January, February, March. And we bid more expensive copper. And we told the customer, listen, this is what's going on. And then the customer said, no, we need to start now. You can procure the copper immediately. I was like, oh, awesome. But we had to redo our bid because it was $100,000 over on copper alone because we're bidding it at 530 instead of 440. And when you apply that across multiple megawatts, that's big cash. And then I think I'm bidding projects in 2027, Tim. What the heck is going to happen between now and 27, Tim? So
I have no idea.
It's a challenge to bid multiple years out for project costs. And we have to get better at our contracts and specifying, hey, if something out of our control whacks the price,
I would argue that the GPTs probably are a good ally in this bidding venture.
Sure. Tim's going back to the AI. So everybody, if you need any help setting up your contract language, talk to Tim. He's going to help you with it. So
you're learning, John. You're learning.
Don't sleep
slowly,
on Tim.
You're learning.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about what happens behind the meter stays behind the meter.
Did you like that title, Tim? Did you like that?
That's pretty clever, John. I have to give it to you.
I came up with that one. I'm going to let you know.
All right.
So this one is big for utility scale folks. Essentially, what we all knew as professionals has been accepted by the big boys, the feds and FERC, the Federal Federal Energy Management Group Commission. What they simply said is that solar plus storage, doesn't matter how much you have. If the inverter's at, say, 79.99, then that's what the system size is. You could have a gigawatt of solar and 5 gigs of batteries. But if your inverter is 79.99,
but why is the combined statistic relevant? What is the conversation that you're in?
You got to scroll to the bottom to see the law discussion on it. But essentially, it was the fossil fuel industry was attempting to hurt the solar industry. And so what they said is like, listen, your site has the ability to produce 160 megawatts with your solar at 60.
But this is the utility pushing back?
No, this is the Edison Institute, the EEI, the utility lobbyist group. You know, the people who are like, we want coal. Those guys, old people that should fall off a cliff. They're the ones pushing this lawsuit, and they want to simply add another $1 million to the cost of being a solar developer by being assholes. But so they sued, and then FERC, and here's a person, I'm going to make an insult to somebody. There's this really annoying fat guy that used to work at FERC called Neil Chatterjee, and he was owned by the fossils, and I think he changed his vote because his boss, Rick Perry, that loser from Texas who didn't even know that the Department of Energy managed nuclear power when Trump placed him in the thing 12 feet over his head. Him and the coal guy that died from Ohio recently, Jim Murray, asshole again. All these people pushed Neil to allow this rule change. And then we had to sue him. And who sued him was Abigail from SEIA. Solar Energy Industries of America. So thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Sia, for winning this lawsuit. Good job. We owe you some dues.
All right. So we need to give our listeners some more context, though, I think.
Yeah.
This story is called What Happens Behind the Meter Stays Behind the Meter. It's by John Weaver in PV Magazine. And there was a ruling this was a national ruling or a
federal?
state?
Yeah, this is national.
Okay, so there was a federal ruling that somehow you might measure the size of a solar plus storage project by using the combined statistics. So if you have 80 megawatts in this case of solar, 50 megawatts of battery, you've got 130 megawatts of project, right?
Project, yes.
And they're saying, no, actually, the court is saying you only have an 80 megawatt or whatever the inverter rating of the project is.
Yes. And they have a certain term. So if you scroll, if you scroll all the way to the top, I put it in the top of it because they use a certain legal term. It's called the fact that it was a facility manager. Oh, I didn't put it here. Okay, we're gonna have to scroll down a little bit, but they have a very specific legal term they use. Power production capacity. No, send out capacity. That's it. The second to the last line in the first paragraph. Okay. They use the term send out capacity, which is weird. It's not a term we generally use. I mean, we use it grid connection, but they said send out capacity. But that's in essence the inverter max output.
Well, let's just grok this for a sec, right?
Yeah.
If you have an 80 megawatt solar facility and a 50 megawatt battery, do you actually have the capacity? It totally depends on the gear and so forth. You're often not putting out both of those onto the grid. You're probably charging the battery with the solar.
Probably.
Right?
It depends on how the battery is designed to run. Let's say the most expensive time of the day is at 4 p.m. when solar's ramping down. So you can potentially have some solar output and then the battery filling up the rest of that inverter. But usually in our world, that's not the way it works. Solar runs in the day. Anything you want to put in that battery, you probably want to run it from 6 to 9 p.m. or 5 to 10 p.m. during the evening peak. So this is just this is a thing that all of us knew was common sense, but the courts had to argue it. And so the reality is you can build a whole city behind the meter. All that matters when it comes to output, if you're trying to get PERPA, is what your inverter, what your grid connection size is. So that was a good story. I like that one.
Well, we had a visitor and I didn't say hello. Thanks, Dustin, for being here. I use ChatGPT on all my contracts. It's really good and has even gotten me better deals catching things I missed. Yes, the GPT is very good at understanding this verbosity, which is often something we know as a contract, which drives me insane. But yeah, for redlining contracts, absolutely, or writing contracts. Good stuff. Yeah. So thanks for being here, Dustin.
But now, Dustin, even if it's as a VPP, this system, it still can only output at its max interconnection number. And that's really where the argument came. You can have solar and a battery behind the same meter, but even if they're both pushing as hard as they can, they're going to get limited by the site inverter. So VPP is just fine. One could argue every power plant in the US is part of the national VPP, but not really.
All right. I got to wrap up. I'm going to Kentucky Lake to sail my Flying Scott sailboat in a regatta. And I want to thank John Weaver for being here so studiously, bringing us great news stories in solar, wind, and storage on a bi-weekly basis. We'll be back October 17th at the same time. That's 12 noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And check out all of our content at cleanpowerhour.com. Please tell a friend about the show. That's the best thing you can do. Where should our listeners find you, Mr. Weaver?
Commercialsolarguy.com, and share it because my Google foo has been dropping because of all this AI stuff.
I was going to say not under a rock. That's definitely the last place to look for John is under a rock. He's not under a rock. He's out there installing solar day in and day out. It's super impressive.
Trying. So commercialsolarguy.com. And Tim, what kind of AI tips are you going to give us? What's the ending AI tip for the day? You got to give us one before we can go.
My tip for the day is get on that bicycle. Most people are walking the bicycle. Think of AI as a bicycle. And you see people riding and you go, that looks kind of cool, but I'm afraid. Get on the bike and ride it, and you'll learn to use ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity in concert. And then you can do more complicated things. I'm working on some automations. Check out my chatbot. That's also, I really need feedback, John. I would love it if you, because you're such a geek, I need geeks to kick the tires on the chatbot. We call him Timbot, and try to break him or do something. Try to make him hallucinate. Give him some mushrooms. Okay, John?
All right. Sure.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We really appreciate you. And without
Dustin, 3 chats. ChatGPT is the first one. The second one is Claude. And then the third one, Claude. And then the third one is going to be, what's the third one, Tim?
Perplexity.
So chat.
And I have to have a paid subscription to Perplexity because I ask it so many questions. It's a freemium model, like all of them. Freemium, you can get free questions answered, but you'll soon be addicted, and then you'll be on the $20 hook, but it's worth it.
All right. Let's grow solar. Thanks, Tim.
Let's grow solar. Take care, John.